Hello, everybody. I'm back with a few more interview questions for Kubernetes. Some of these questions I've asked myself, some of the questions I've been asked as an SRE engineer when I was one. The questions and answers are written down in a GitHub repo that I have. I'm going to post the link in the description below. So if you rather prefer a written version of this, you can get it from the repo that I have. All right, first question. Under which situation could kubectl explain command will help you? How could you use that? This is one of my favorite part of kubectl. The reason why is when you're taking the CKD exam or the CK exam, or you're just writing code, um, you don't have to know all the little nitty gritty of the API specs. For example, the pods have a section, YAML has a section called metadata. It also has a section called spec. Under spec, spec is an object. Under object, there are other objects like containers and whatnot. So if you're running into an issue with the YAML file, for example, if I say kubectl explain pod, it gives me all the top level objects of that API resource called pod. For example, .spec is one of them. So I can say now kubectl explain pod.spec, and it gives me the next level. What are the objects? What are things we have to provide for that pod to be created, right? So it helps me in that way. Also, let's say that in the exam, and by the way, I have other videos about this, several of them in my channel that when I do the labs for these things, so you can see hands-on. But it's one of my favorite tools to have for the exam. So, for example, if you know that for your question you need some kind of attribute called, oh, I don't know, volume mount or something, you can run the following command. You can say kubectl explain dash dash recursive, and then you can grep for the thing that you think is there somewhere. Once you find it, you can go above and below the line where it found it to see how it relates to the top part. For example, pod spec dot containers dot whatever you're looking for, right? So it really helps you write the code live while you're taking the exam. It also helps you tremendously when you have written the code, it's not working for a reason, you get an error message saying expected this but got this. If you do a kubectl explain on that part, it will tell you exactly what it is expecting. And again, I have labs for that on other videos in my channel. Next question: if you do without doing an online search, how can you get examples of kubectl commands, right? So it turns out if you do kubectl dash dash help, it gives you a whole bunch of help. That's obviously true. But then let's say that you run kubectl run dash dash help. It will give you a whole bunch of examples of how you can run a pod, and you can just pick one that is close to what you want to do and modify the command and run that command and get you what you need. It's also extremely helpful in the exams for CK and the CKD exams because you can quickly get what you want and get it done the way you need to without having to look up some website someplace else. All right, last question today. How can you install your own scheduler on your cluster? By default, Kubernetes gives you a scheduler that will schedule your pods onto different nodes as defined by the parameters, right? You can also, if you don't like that, if you need a better one, you can create a scheduler. You have to create a Docker image out of it. You have to put that in a registry someplace, and then you have to create a deployment out of that image that you have on the registry, and then you apply that as a deployment from your YAML file using that image that you just created, which refers to this, we basically schedules pods for you, right? That's a way to have your own scheduler that you want to do if you don't want to use the default one. It's kind of advanced thing to do. I've never done it myself, but I can imagine other people having to do that. But generally, you don't need that. So, all right. So I hope you found this video useful. If you do, please like and subscribe, and that really helps me with the YouTube's algorithm. And I will see you in the next Kubernetes interview questions video.